Okay, folks. Next one, we're gonna, Article 13 of the Bill of Rights and the amendments to the Constitution. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted. That's the doing away with slavery. In Article 14, it begins with all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdictions thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So it goes on, but I want to focus on that a little bit, and gonna let Tyler say a few things about that.
All right. Well, now we have a problem with the state, or with our immigration policies, and that's what I think Article 14 is really getting at, is that anyone born in or naturalized, and the naturalized part is the immigration aspect of it, and how does one become a citizen of the United States. And nowadays it's been so convoluted and made complex that it takes years and a lot of money to become a citizen. And back in the days of Ellis Island, I mean, it was still convoluted a little bit, and people's names got messed up, but each state handled their own immigration, and the state and the judge, the supreme judges in that state, I believe. And when you have 50 individual states handling the immigration, it takes a lot of the burden off of the federal agencies. There were no federal agencies that were dealing with the immigration, and now that there is, I think it's just made everything too complicated and too much of a hassle, and that's why we see a lot of illegal immigration happening.
Now, let me ask you something,
Yep.
Tyler. Where do your rights come from?
I believe they're given to you by the Creator. If you're secular, or if you're an atheist, I guess it would come from nature, but that's debatable, because if nature is an inanimate object, then how can an inanimate object give you something?
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that it's given by our Creator, and our rights are supposed to be protected by the government, not infringed upon by our government.
Have you ever asked anybody else that question?
No.
No? Well, I've asked that question a lot.
Yeah.
And what's alarming to me, I've heard people say that their rights come from the government.
Yeah. No.
That's a bad thing. So I get reading this Article 14 here, and all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to, right? I got to tell you something. We, the people, created the Constitution, okay? Us people who we are endowed by our Creator, and according to the laws of nature and of nature's God, we have these things. And we people created the Constitution. Now, the 14th Amendment comes along. It says all persons, all right, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof of the United States. I'm wondering if these persons that were created by Article 14 are different than we the people. Because when I ask people where their rights come from, and they say from the government, I think it's pointing right to this document right here. that they're subjects of the United States, and the United States made them. And my idea is for these persons to become people. And I think there's a process for that. Not sure I can put it in words, but we'll have to figure that one out. So I think this is where this riff is with people who are wanting to do away with parts of the Constitution and do away with parts of the Bill of Rights. And I think what's dangerous about it is that most of these people think their rights come to them by the government. And that's just not the case. And I think that's the root cause of what the riff is in this country right now, is understanding who we the people are versus who some people think they are, subjects and creations of the government, who that then they think they get the rights. And me, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm saying the difference between inalienable rights and civil rights.
Yeah.
I think civil rights is what we're getting into here. That rights that are given to you by the government, let's say, whereas inalienable rights are laws of nature. And I'm just going to give you one law of nature. All right. Somebody comes to attack mama's bear baby. Mama's bear, baby bear, right? We can say human being. Somebody comes to attack mama's baby. What happens?
She's going to protect her baby.
You better believe it, okay? If you're in the way, you're going to have a problem if you're in the way of mama protecting the baby. That's a law of nature. The government don't give you that. As a matter of fact, the government's trying to take that away, you know.
Yeah.
And this is the conflict between inalienable rights and civil rights, I think. So, sound exciting? Be back with you in a bit.